we know it is kind of falling apart. And we're sitting here writing a book. And it didn't quite feel right to talk about it. We wanted to look at the world in the face, at least through the lens of poetry, which is how we look at a lot of things. I had some bewildering weeks in January, feeling like the bad guys had won, which remains TBD. But we can't let that stand unchallenged. There are so many voices besides the trolls and the commentators, and we wanted to amplify those speaking out for hope and compassion and justice. The bad guys are making decisions today, but it's not the final word. In the Supreme Court, there's a tradition of the dissenting opinion, a formal disagreement with the majority ruling written to influence future decisions or serve as calls to action for legal change. Our discourse improves with dissent. And that's what we can offer the world as poets. We are the witnesses and the historians and the dissenting voices of our time. And I'm absolutely honored to bring them together here tonight. What you're doing here is larger than the sum of our parts. Thank you all for sharing your hearts and your work and your voices. And with that, I'm going to introduce the first group one. I'm going to be introducing you in groups of 3. And after that, you can go straight one into the other. No transition needed in between, and that should keep us moving. Our first group includes Tanya Roy, Lori Kuntz, Bryson Williams, and Judith Prest was listed as undecided. If Judith is here and wants to read, you can go after Bryson. Okay, are we ready, Tanya? Is Tanya here?
Yes, I can't change my name on my screen.
Okay, there you go.
It's my email. Yeah.
All right. And as you read, just go ahead and tell us your name, where you're from, maybe a brief statement of who you are, and then everybody can put their comments in chat as you're following along and having reactions. Please feel free to show appreciation for each other, but let's keep it silent at this time. We will have a time at the end to just cut loose and share all of our accolades. Thank you. Okay, Tanya, go ahead.
Okay. My name is Tanya Roy. I actually am generally a storyteller, but poetry is a way to move away from things that are funny into things that feel different about our human experience. And this poem came about, I was doing a writing exercise for some commissioned nonfiction work. And I didn't realize how heavy the world felt at that moment, because this is what came out. So I have one poem. It is very short. So this is my poem, Maybe. If I were a different kind of woman, person, human, then maybe I would roast marshmallows while the world burned. And my face would be hot, and my conscience would be cold, and all of my marshmallows would taste like the charred flesh of the underprivileged I didn't try to save. Thank you.
Hi, I'm next, I think. My name's Lori Kuntz. Can everyone hear me? Because I'm usually on Zoom. I haven't used Google Chat, so. Okay, my name is Lori Kuntz, and my accent is from Brooklyn, but I am currently in the dreaded state of Florida. So I have 2 very short poems. First one, Sticking with Poetry, for Renee Good, mother, wife, sister, poet. It is always the troll, rude and despicable, who posts the unfathomable comment. She should have stuck with poetry. After she, the poet, the activist, the lover, the mother, friend, sister, was brutally gunned down. She should have stuck with poetry. But the poetry she stuck with made her who she was that day, not angry, just trying to resist, to be the voice that poems are made of. She stuck with poetry, or poetry stuck with her. That's why she was a woman who loved a child, who strived in the world she hoped to make better, who resisted, spoke out about right and wrong. She stuck with poetry, so her words can stick with us as she rests in this poem. And next one is Enough. Enough, a memorial, Renee Good and Alex Preddy. I had just written a poem where searching for the right words was like straddling across a river after a squall, a flow of every rage captured in a balance of stanzas which cry out, enough. Words to plead, to share, to make sense of the unsensible, to conjure phrases to heal a country's fracture, a family's grief, a child's hopes torn apart, lives stopped for no reason, but enough reasons to write again. And I think I would like to shout out the names of the 8 people that I'm aware of that were shot or detained by ICE and died under ICE's auspices. Renee Nicole Good, Alex Preddy, Keith Porter, Geraldo Loomis Campos, Julio Cesar Celis, Luis Casares, Luis Cruz, Parody Lay, Heba Dominiquez. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Bryson Williams. I go by Rhino with a pen as my written name. I'm from Charlotte, North Carolina, so forgive me if my Southern comes out a little bit. Sorry, this is my first time. I don't actually have anything regarding what's going on in the world right now, but if it's okay, I would like to perform one of my poems for inspiration. I write a lot about picking up from where you're from and making yourself better. The piece is called It Was Always You. When you feel down, fallen to your deepest floor, believe in me, believe in my belief of you, because I know what I see. I know you in a way that you may not know yourself. Life has pushed you down, but you persevere. You have been strong enough to survive. I know you are strong enough to thrive. It's okay to be afraid. It's okay to not be okay. Let's do it afraid. We'll do it in a way that makes what you suffer yours. And I say we because at the very least you'll always have me. We rise by lifting others. I'll carry you if I have to. I'll be with you on the journey to conquer your mountain. I'll fight with you when the demons come out of their hiding. And when you reach your peak, you'll realize I was just an echo, reminding you of the strength that was already yours. Thank you.
Okay, do we have Judith here? And Judith, did you have something that you wanted to read? If not, and if you come and want to share, there's going to be room to jump back in, but I'm going to introduce group 2. That includes Joanne Durham, Julie Moore, and Cynthia Sam Foley.
Okay, I guess that's me first, right? Hi, everybody. It's nice to be here. Thank you all for doing this. I think it's it's lovely to connect with other people in these feelings that we're all sharing. I live in a small beach town outside of Wilmington, North Carolina, and I'd like to read two poems. The first one is from my poetry book, To Drink from a Wider Bowl, which came out in 2022 from Evening Street Press, won their Sinclair Poetry Prize. And I wanted to read this poem because I think it's important to continue to realize that all this stuff that's happening isn't exactly new, just maybe a little more scary for some of us. So this poem is called Superpowers, and it was written from a photograph in the New York Times. Formed from a torn tablecloth, his checkered cape floats free behind him, arms spread, one foot suspended in air, ready to leap from the kitchen shelf into his father's arms. He has his balance, a 5-year-old boy with superpowers, a boy ready for flight. The boy will take flight soon with his father. They will not fly, they will walk, perhaps more than 100 shadeless days. They will leave behind the tablecloth, the kitchen, the brilliant hues of the quetzal bird flying across a woven blanket. The father has surveyed his coffee fields, once fertile, leaves now consumed in brown fungus, no sooner rotting than passing their poison to the next plant, leaving the belly of the boy almost as empty as the belly of the father. I wish him superpowers, to fly safely across borders he knows they are not welcome to cross, spurned by a power as unyielding as his land. Thank you. And the second poem I'd like to read came out in Gyroscope Review in their fall issue, and I lost the page. Here it is. This poem will be in my upcoming poetry collection called Chasing Justice, from which will come out in the summer from Shanti Arts. And when I was writing the book, putting the book together, I was trying to figure out how to organize it, and I came across this quote from E.B. White. He said, "I arise in the morning torn between a desire to improve or save the world and a desire to enjoy or savor the world. This makes it hard to plan the day." And that just kind of framed the book, because it's kind of how I think, for me, balancing resistance and equanimity in these times. So this poem is called What to Love in the World We Live In. Try dirt, cockroaches, clouds, what survives. Try rhythms, waves, contractions, birth, breath. Try stars. No need to know they all burn out. Give them 1,000,000 years, a lot can happen. We're 3 friends around a kitchen table, testing the depth of night, seeped in news of prisons for immigrants, decent people fired for being decent, floods and flames feasting on forests and wetlands. Our fears don't evaporate like drops of wine off our glasses. We are struggling to do something, anything, to believe it matters. Leaning into the dim light, Michael muses how on Mount St. Helens, after lava burned everything alive, seeds blew into the devastation. Huckleberry and trillium emerged between fallen trees. Here and there, slivers of silver fir poked through, protected by winter's snow. Such quiet, fierce resistance. Naomi says, I need to remember Aesop, his big bundle of sticks that couldn't be broken. I say, my grandson told me yesterday, I can't wait to be 8. Thank you very much. And I'll put my website is joanne@joannedurham.com. I'll put it in the chat if you'd like to know anything more about any of this. Thank you.
Thank you for those poems, Joanne. They were just absolutely wonderful. And thank you for the poems that have already been read as well. And just for being here tonight to lend our voices, yes, in resistance and protest. I'm Julie Moore. I live in Indiana, and we are having thunderstorms right now during this reading. So I'm hoping we don't have an electrical outage, but so far we're hanging tough as it's thundering. And my dog is right here by my side because she is very upset about the thunder. I'm going to read 2 poems tonight. The first poem is called Slow Work and was just published this week in Swim. So it was published and featured in Swim on February 12th. And I wrote it a year ago on February 14th, 2025. So it is called Slow Work. I awoke to a song in the field, penny whistle beckoning in the pitch of expectation. Last evening's sleet sighing beneath the morning sun. Nothing melts this month, least of all hearts of ice. What else can I say? The devil does exist in the dreadful details. His heavy musk hangs in the air, clawing at us. He is father to many lies because his misery loves their company. But oh, that song. It lifts me not into rapture over the Valentine sky. This is not about transcendence, but into the slow work of the rabbit outside, foraging for food amid the shrubs, toting a twig back to its den. And that poem actually starts my forthcoming book, which is coming out in June from Wild House Publishers. And that book is called Devil's Backbone, and is a book that reckons with whiteness, and that is the opening poem to it. My second poem is called Clapping the Corners and is so new. It has not been published yet. My older daughter lives with me, and we had just moved boxes out of our dining room after a move, and she began clapping in the corners and told me that was a way to disperse static and negative energy from the room. And that really stuck with me and became an image that really helped me to write through what was going on, especially this winter in Minneapolis. So this is for those in Minneapolis. It has an epigraph from Nina Simone's song, Mississippi Goddamn. And the epigraph is, I can't stand the pressure much longer. Somebody say a prayer. Clapping the corners. She claps in the neglected corners, circling clockwise to cleanse with sharp sounds, negative energy cloistered there at the stagnant angle of our White House's wild ego, where soulless webs hang, haunting the room, collecting nothing but dust shed from complicity's silence and shame. She could use bells or drums, yet chooses her hands, those fragile, capable conduits of kindness and fury. Clap, 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 clap. Listen to her palms strike, feel them pulsating flesh on flesh. Then hear the whistles in Minneapolis, piercing the thick skin of indifference. Clap, clap, clap. Who among us doesn't rage against the shedding of innocent blood with the same hands that pat the dog's head, make bread, hold tightly to those we love as a storm roars upon the roof, slaps the eaves? Clap, clap. We raise the signs we've made, yes, with our own hands to protest, with magic markers and Crayola paints, the haughty heart's wicked schemes, the false witness who pours out lies. Didn't Solomon say God hates such things? As Minnesotan, strident, shrill discord pervades every negative degree, I want to clap until my hands bleed to vanquish century-old specters that still hover over us, insisting on their supremacy, whose name somebody say a prayer is legion. Slap. Thank you.
Do we have Sam Foley in the audience? Let's see. Okay, I'm going to introduce group 2, or 3, that is. It includes first Cypher, Emmy Vogel, and Christina Connerton.
Hello, this is Cypher. I can't change my name. I was just trying to find a spot to position myself. Hi everyone. Thank you so much, Kelly and Anne, for hosting. I have 2 poems for us today. And yeah, so as Kelly mentioned, my pen name is Cypher, and I've been writing a lot of political poetry, as I'm sure the rest of everyone has been as well. It's hard not to. And so I'll share them. The first one is called They Killed Good, for Renee Nicole Good. She looked the architect of her dread dead in the eye and said, "I am not mad at you," seconds before he shot her. Why must the best of us bleed while the leeches live on? My phone is filled with her elegies, and I keep thinking how powerless we must be to respond to injustice with ink. But alas, what choice do we have? They buried good in the coffin of constructed villainy, so it's up to us to write her truth. ICE killed a woman. We cannot let them kill her legacy too. Thank you. And I will do one more. It's called End of the World. I used to think only fools made art when the world was ending. But I know now that it is the world's end that pushes poets to the pen. My poems don't pour, don't feed, don't make fuel, don't bring peace, and yet I will not trade poetry for practicality. The pen is a means of self-preservation. I will not stop, because I am what they dread. I am an immigrant, poor, brown, queer, the sister of a disabled brother, and the daughter of a single father. I am what they dread, and I will keep it that way. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Emmy. My given name is Emily, but I've recently been going through some drastic spiritual changes. So Emmy was my name, my nickname when I was a kid. So I'm returning to that. And I'm the mother of 2 special needs kids, and my daughter is currently trying to use the microwave and not succeeding because we're struggling with some furnace issues in our house right now, and we have a lot of space heaters going, so the fuses are blowing. But I'm just going to read 2. I think I'm going to read 2 poems. I'm not really a political poet. I'm more of a, I don't know what you would call me, romantic. But this is a poem called Retrospeak. I don't believe in war. If you believe in war as though war was some deity, it exists and ensues. If you believe that you will go to hell for your evils and there are demons about, they will appear and prophecies will happen. It is simple to imagine an object out of its own reality, like maybe a pencil, a moonstone, a notebook, smartphone, bottle of water, a key to some door that you don't remember unlocking. I mean, seriously. Just look at this room swarming with the fattest balloons and candles set aflame and people dancing in joy and ecstasy. Check out the angels in the corners of my house, crouching among their own angel dust, their wings bobbing and waving like light in a dream. This is just to apprise you, because there are tidal waves spilling out from my heart center, and I'm not the type to own a gun, honey. Okay. Hold on. And then, a lot of my poetry actually has been inspired. Part of that, part of the what I'm putting together a book right now, and it's like it kind of the catalyst was my starting a yoga practice. So anyway, this is a short poem called Root Chakra Prayer. When he leaves the house, I draw the blinds close against the tides of the evening. It has become dark outside, so I light some incense. The smoke carousels upward like some incantation that seduces whatever angels. I hold a moonstone in the small crevice of my palm on my right hand, let it marinate there, and breathe into my Mulandhara. Feel my loins quake a little at the insistence of breath and the steel drum music that is playing. It titillates my spine. There is a zephyring festooning my skin. Only it's not him I'm thinking of. I'm drawing female energy like the vaginal mouth of a dragon, staring through the slats of the half-closed blinds at the dark and one distinct light, in a prayer that must be from some other god. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Christina Connerton. Thank you so much for hosting this and having me. I am in Los Angeles, and I wrote this poem July of last year when ICE first kind of set up camp here. It's called Message in a Tank Tire. It's the day after the tanks came and the streets are empty. The lovers who stroll the water's edge stayed home. The man who yells into his phone worked through lunch. The woman selling fruit spends a day in her garden. The concerned faces with clipboards got all their signatures. The construction workers renovating the apartment next door finished early. The girls who paint their nails on blankets they purchased at the local flea ran out of polish. The prayer group, hot potatoing verses, reached the end of their book. The children who sing in a circle finally fell down. Last week, I saw a proposal right under that big tree over there, but today I'm divorced from my city. The flowers it gave me are all dying. The fish I fed float to the top. The mayor stands on the altar of her favorite screen and says, "We have gathered here today to fundraise." She tells me we can return to the streets, but she does not tell me where the children are. There's no day after the day after the tanks came, because the tanks are back. But no one else is. These once romantic boulevards now betrothed to black boots, donors, and trash. Bloated and packed, but empty of everything I know. I'm starting to think the lovers aren't home at all. The man who yelled isn't at his computer. The woman's garden is barren and dry. The concerned faces aren't smiling elsewhere. The construction workers didn't break ground across town. The girls aren't prepping their picnic baskets. The prayers aren't being answered. Every day I see a new missing sign. Names of my neighbors in big red letters. Today I write my own. Missing, who we were. I paste them back to back, up and down, on seat benches and street lamps. I bury one in the ground, hoping it'll sprout something I recognize, or something I don't. I watch run one away from me. It floats over the tree I love so much, the grass I once slept in, the lake I haven't had time for, like it can't stay here, like it knew all along who we were, like it isn't surprised. It thumps 1, 2, 3 times in a tank tire until it's out of sight. I hope it finds new air to ride, untethered, unchained, so it can find you wherever you are and tell you that without you, we aren't the same. We aren't anyone at all. Thank you.
Thank you all so far. I'm from Los Angeles too, Christina. I see the sunshine out your window and the wind. Our next group includes Amanda J. Bradley, Rana Maggi, and John Ganshaw.
Hi, I moved here to Indianapolis from New York, and I'm actually the editor of the New York Quarterly, even though I live in Indianapolis. I have two poems, and I'm going to read the longer one first. It's called Read It and Weep. Early English novels boast characters with keen sensibilities. It was a thing. You could see their virtue, their prowess of perception when they fainted, wept, required fanning. Bonus points when moved by nature. Critics considered novels effeminate, like all degraded things. Let's trash smelling salts, fencing duels, opium dens, taking turns about sculptured gardens we don't have, but bring back the valor of sharp sensibility. This time around, let's spread our arms wide, hug to us everyone willing. I mean, those early novels were born long before slavery was abolished. Slavery abolished after the oh-so-serious novelist Hawthorne complained about the damned mob of scribbling women. But no, do go back to your television set and hope the revolution will be there between jabs of MMA fighters, ads for medication, Fox News anchors calling lies fair and balanced. We report, you decide, they spin. Most watched, most trusted. You know, we could, with a little effort, all work little enough to enjoy a hike in the woods, to swoon at disappearing foxtails and lichen crawling stones, not just those of you who are one of us. We could all perceive with fine-tuned emotion, with sensitivity, that the war machine is fed by us and them, not just them. But no, go ahead and laugh at gay, Black James Baldwin, who read every book in the 135th Street Library in Harlem, his sensibility refined to understanding his personal anguish was not unique. Why don't we fine-tune our sensibilities, calibrate our voices, tweak our struts and strings, soften our reeds with spit till we can play in harmony a melody so fine it keens critics to weep and faint without shame. And then I have one more. This one's a little shorter. This is called Uses for This Poem. If it's on a digital screen when you encounter it, you can read it, scroll past it, vaguely wondering what it said or barely registering the title, my name. You can close the window. If encountered on a page, you can read it, skim it, ignore it and turn the page, or flip it over, trash it in a nearby wastebasket. You can file it by whatever organizing principle you use to file poems or journals or books, depending. You can rest your mug of coffee on it to avoid making a ring on the table. If you choose to read it, you may be wondering why by now, because it has not yet become profound. Do you expect profundity from poetry, poignancy at the very least? Do you wish it would make you cry or laugh or feel or think? Do you wish it would speak with authority? Do you wish it would stop ICE from clamoring at doors in masks? Stop ICE from raiding job sites to collect brown people? Do you wish it would call out the American Gestapo that ICE is for shooting immigrants and poets and nurses dead and blaming them for being the wrong kind of person to live? For callously stating they deserved it because they defended themselves and others against a Gestapo? What do you as a reader expect this poem to accomplish? Do you wish someone unlike yourself were reading this poem instead of you? Someone who needs to? Thanks.
Thank you, Amanda. Hi, I'm Rana Meiji. I'm going to be reading two poems, and I'm coming in from a rainy afternoon in Los Angeles. Nothing seems to make sense anymore. This is for Minneapolis. What you have heard about authority is true. It doesn't all happen at once. Change is gradual, always an experiment in freedom and truth. Winter snow, an ordinary day, make no mistake, consider the gun. The driver's window rolled down, the red SUV turning away. The woman says to the officer, "I'm not mad at you." He shoots. "F you, bitch," he says. Her blood drips down on the pile of fallen snow. And the second poem, published in Rise Up Review, speaks to the wars in Ukraine, the events in Palestine, and to all wars. It begins with this epigraph. In the distance, the canopy of civilization is burned out. Virginia Woolf. In the old Jewish cemetery, earth and roses flung on mothers' and grandmothers' graves. Those women walk with me now. I ask, why are we taking this road? Faces scarved to the winds, they murmur, there is nowhere to go. Sandaled feet no longer dancing, toes awash with dry tears, they cry out, we are all of us walking this road, without water, without food, twisted bodies dead in a road, war-shadowed, dusty dresses walking this road, bloody men and women's arms wailing this road, blanket-swathed babies, mothers reluctantly treading this road, people bereft of homelands, refugees aimlessly walking this road, houses bombed, families destroyed, people tremble this road. No place to go, endless rows of humanity. We are all, every one of us, walking this road. Thank you.
Thank you, Rana. I'm John Ganshaw. I currently live in Wayland, New York, taking care of my oldest brother. Prior to moving back here, I lived in Cambodia for 5 years. The last 13 months there, I spent in prison and under house arrest for speaking out against the trafficking of young men, the involvement of NGOs, expats and hotels, and the government. But it was in that 13 months that I learned the most in my entire life about humanity and the role humanity plays in all of us. So I'm going to read 3 poems. The first being For This I Cry. It's the 4th of July, and here I sit on the front steps and look to the sky. I see so blue, the wispy clouds, and cry. You ask, why is it you sit here and cry? I cry for the people of Ukraine, living and fighting for their freedom, to be independent without war, to raise their children without fear of death, to determine their destiny to be free. I cry for the people of Palestine, to dream of a homeland they can call their own, for children to go to school without the fear of bombs, to get food and water and not be killed, to live side by side and be in peace. For this, I cry. I cry for the people of Cambodia, who have dreamed of democracy for over 50 years, to have an education and a good job, to no longer dream of the Khmer Rouge, to see the smiles on their parents' face. I cry for the immigrants who have done no wrong, in their pursuit of happiness and freedom, and they are vilified. To earn a decent wage and provide for the family, to not be persecuted for being gay, for their faith, for their convictions. For this, I cry. I cry for my country, the country I remember. I cry for all those who never had the same opportunities as me. I cry for those who have lost their dreams, for those who died seeking a better life. I cry for those like me, those who see who we should still be, for all we lost in the pursuit of greed. For these I cry. I cry that we return someday. For this I dream. The second poem I chose is Greed of the Bloody Elite. Wars of culture are fought at home, naive to the truth, hidden by lust for power and reward in piles of money that live yet don't breathe. Bombs exploding in faraway lands. Drones are assassins as children sleep. Parents are maimed and grandparents die. The mega elite leading leeches who close their eyes and pretend not to see. Blind to the murderous activities of the evil masterminds they long to be, here they plan the fortunes to be made. Compassion and mercy were washed away by the blood flowing on the streets. Crawl out of the gutters with contracts of gluttony clasped in the hands of these putrid men who reek. Dollar signs are the only thing they see. Families are lying in pieces, but nothing obscures their greed. The instruments of the artists rise to speak, to tell the world all they see. The brazen thievery by billionaires who thrive on others' misery. Open the eyes of all who care, touch the neighbors and the strangers, spread the word without remorse, with no worry of becoming a lifeless body dying on the street. Blood-soaked martyrs who will never weep, curse the brothers and sisters who pick up arms, shoot to kill without knowing the cause. Buckets of blood carry the passion, the beauty, the vision, and will. Live through dismantling the architecture of those who aim to harm, to take back the institutions in the country that is rightfully ours. And the last, a revolution, a vision of two, and we can start anew. Either an army to march and start the coup. The time is coming to build the barricades, unable to sit and watch while our country fades away. Blood will flow down the hills to the streams. The persecuted will rise to fulfill our fathers' dreams. A nation of God, no matter who that might be, a land with no barriers and all will live free. Rise from the ashes and all that burned down. Fascists and Nazis have attacked one and all. The flag of our democracy lies crying on the ground. Turned, tossed, and trampled became the bugler's call. Take to the streets and make our voices heard. The love of our country lives deep and now stirred. The promises of the powerful are not the solution. We, the people who stand with the poor, have had enough and will lead this revolution. Today, tomorrow, and every day that follows, the treasonous shall be taken and kneed at the gallows. Their actions were crimes against humanity, all for nothing except to feed their endless vanity. Our forefathers will be proud that we didn't stand by and watch. We stood against those who wished our country to die. The wealthy, the powerful will be put to their place and learn that the people and our country have God's grace. Well, thank you.
Thank you to our last group. We're going now to group 5 that includes Trevor Tingle, Victorio Reyes Asili, and Kelly Miller.
All right, I don't have to remember who I go after. Thank you, everybody, for reading. Y'all can hear me? Can everybody hear me? Yeah, okay. Sorry, I'm flipping back and forth from my poems to this. Okay, yeah, everybody's work was really fabulous. It's very moving to me. This first poem is called Boy in Blue with a Bird. My grandmother died 2 weeks after my son was born. Now she visits me in my dreams. These are no visions of sunshine and croquet, white bread and positive feedback. Those were things she reserved for real life. It's dark in the dream, and she is worn out, sitting on the curb with head in hand. One thing life and dreams share is a bad hip. It's too much for me to haul her up. In the glory of her youth, she was a 5'10" bombshell. Age did not shrink her at all. With nothing else for it, I settle down beside her. My small hand rests atop hers on the sidewalk. I realize this is the neighborhood I wandered for hours after dark as a teenager, trying to get high without getting mugged. It eventually became a safe, desirable place until the government started murdering people in the streets. That was the world she gave me. This is the world I will pass on to my children. Her face is full of concern. Our butts are growing numb, and we have no way home. And the second poem I have here is the 6 most common words spoken by our would-be tyrant belong to you. Glass days pass while we wonder what tariffs have been placed on our lives, watch neighbors' sad faces vanish, and say nothing beautiful to speak against the loss in fear of revenge. The headlines avoid the word dictator, but the word is hidden in our hearts. Thank you very much. Such a reflex to say thank you to the wary checkout lady while tariffs swell the bill despite the dictatorship of our bellies. We try not to let sadness lead us down the haunted halls of revenge. This cracked display of life is still beautiful. It is that very insistence of beauty that drives home the importance of thank you. We must sharpen our knives with such words. Revenge is a word for bloody fools. We tariff the desperation in the hearts of the sad men clogging the halls of dictatorship's corroded arteries. Only dictators aim assault rifles at the beautiful people that make up this sad, sad nation and expect us to thank them for the experience. We will tariff the Morning Star lawyers used for revenge against those of us who know that revenge is no way to run a nation. Dictators judge how to weaponize everything. Tariffs are just one item in their arsenal. Beautiful lies are another. A sea of thank yous turns acidic, softening our mouths and sad crustacean tongues, able only to sing sad songs, though we long after tender revenge. We are a torn people, and we think you should be warned. Sooner or later, dictators fall, and the breakage is never beautiful. Porous reigns through our days, shattered by tariffs, for big business backs this sad dictatorship. We will rise, but we will rise in a revenge of beautiful thank yous, transfixed behind terrific smiles. Thank you.
Thank you for everyone who's read. Thank you for having this event. My name is Victorio Reyes Asili. I'm a professor of poetry at the University of Tampa, and I can be found on Substack. I have one poem, and it is called Sacrifice. Yet putting down here what might be left to say in time come after death. Allen Ginsberg. This poem wants to save Charlie Kirk, to grab him seconds before he meets his fate, transform him to the body of Jorge Steven Lopez Mercado, seconds before he met his fate. In that moment of time bending, would Charlie see Stephen? Would he see him if he was them? Would Charlie value gender fluidity? What if I could save him, save them, transport them, him, to a San Francisco courtroom, into the body of Ferlinghetti as he awaits his fate, the fate of his platform, his career, the threat of censorship? This poem sits on a park bench on the river while a jogger passes by and says he values liquidity. And I think of Harriet Tubman, and I wonder if the runner was thinking about rivers. And I wonder if I could transport him to the Hudson River, if I could make the runner be Charlie and make Charlie be Charles, Charles Knoll, the man Harriet helped free from the Fugitive Slave Act in Troy, New York, on the banks of the Hudson River. But now this poem is in Tampa, and Steve Jobs has provided the instrument where this poem is being born after watching a movie about Ginsberg. But there is a man walking, and he says to his peers that we haven't been around that long since our independence from Britain. And I think that us poems have known rivers, have known that rivers know us. And I don't know this river, but I wonder, does it know me? Let me think more solid than water, more like the bullets in Harriet's gun. I try, but I remain fluid because these words aren't bullets. They are words from a river that surely has a name, that remembers Africans arriving here long before Harriet or this poem or this country were even a thought. And this poem values liquidity. I will sleep tonight, sweaty and mind racing, and I fear I will wake to a pulsating sound pounding in my ears, a deafening image. Oh, Harriet, holy Stephen, holy Steve, holy Lawrence, holy Alan, holy man who values liquidity, holy Charles, holy Charlie, holy the man who grabbed this poem by the head and made him suck him off when he was 5 years old. And I wonder, are you alive, sir? I don't want to save you. You can't be saved. You don't deserve to be saved. You can't be. And yet this poem, for some insane, inexplicable reason, is about to try and save hate today. So if you live, and by the strangest sequence of events, these words make it to you in the autumn of your life, this poem will transform you to Charlie's body seconds before he meets his maker and ask you if you want to sacrifice yourself from him. Do you want Charlie to have another chance at life? To have the chance to evolve, perhaps grow, perhaps learn? Would you sacrifice yourself for another man? That's what this poem wants to know, needs to know. Some will say this poem has tried to kill you. But I wonder if I could save you, and you could save Charlie, if somehow you could save yourself, and then somehow maybe this crazy, discordant world would somehow make sense. Thank you, everyone.
I'm not sure if Judith is here. If she is, I will give her the opportunity to go ahead and go right now. If not, I will be the unlucky person that has to follow that amazing performance. Like, that was just absolutely incredible. All of the poetry tonight has been so incredible. I'm going to try to read through mine without getting emotional, but this last hour, I've just been, gosh, I'm so touched by all of your words and so humbled, truly. So I have two poems to read. That both written this year, unpublished. And I'll read the longer one first. It's called Conejito. When my daughter asked me to drive her across town for a kid's night out at school, I drag my Mazda 5 through ice-covered, winter gray streets, blaring Taylor Swift's Wonderland as if it's the signal for a 4-alarm fire. Follow the white rabbit to the drop-off line. Send her on her way with a swimsuit and a $20 bill, despite knowing it would be spent on overpriced junk food in a gymnasium that reeked of chlorine. While I wait, I scroll through photos and videos of protests in ice-covered streets. A little boy in a floppy-eared bunny hat. It's Hugh, a baby blanket blue. The article says his name is Liam Conejo Ramos. I hear the voice of my late mother-in-law. Mira. She points to the bush in front of her glass door. Conejito, she whispers. What world is this in which we use little rabbits as bait, dangling toddlers from the straps of their Spider-Man backpacks, packing them down into barrels, taking aim at their kin? I force myself to stare. They'd want me to scroll, indulge myself in far more palatable things. Instead, I memorize the 2 large ears, the paws hanging like limp limbs, sear it into the black mirror like a face buried deep into a forever pin art toy. I pick up my daughter early. She is angry. Good. Good. I am angry too. We have dinner. I make her watch Watership Down. I make her watch Little Rabbits Fleeing Tyranny. I make her watch. And I have one more here. This one is called Illumination. After the world burns, I wash the dishes. Even in the dark ages, children still need nourishment, fuel to face the darkest side of a new dawn. We eat dinner by candlelight, watch the flicker of shadows beneath wallpaper. They insist on a story from a time before this one and all the others. There is art in the aftermath, so I paint the walls a golden yellow, the ceiling a robin's egg blue. Once there was a princess who was lost in a dark forest, guided by the light of a million fireflies. With every brushstroke, we are disappeared to another world, gone like the new moon, and in our places, ghosts. We silent pray and paint like monks. I too am eager for illuminating phantom joys with golden leaf, moonfall piercing midnight sky. Thank you.
That was beautiful, Kelly. I hadn't heard that one before. We have one more group of writers. Our final 3 include the Philosopher's Poet, Sarah Pena, and then Anne Ramallo. And then we'll have some time to unmute our mics and talk to each other. So, Philosopher's Poet.
Hi, sorry. Hey, can you hear me? Oh, everyone can hear me. Yeah, hi. Sorry, I'm calling from the UK. So I stumbled across it. I thought, yeah, great opportunity. Hi, everyone. My first poem is called Duck Hunt. It's about inequality. Miseducation. The miscegenation of poisonous thoughts between devilish beings with mistaken intent. A means to no end or prolonging their pain. They shake hands with a shank from behind just to stab in the back repeatedly so like this. We'll meditate upon these wounds. Inhale, exhale, but won't breathe from the depths of our guts, rambunctiously swelling with hot air. Monitoring eyes, calibrating ears, and cocking back thoughts. But mindfulness will elude us, even though we are grounded. Our reach will exceed our grasp and we'll be triggered happy, gasping for breath, gawking at the flight of the birds, admiring their speed and grace through crosshairs. Aerodynamics were never our strength, but we had the fortitude to fix our beaks, speaking profound things about the color of their feathers, their gender, and the fatness of their breast. Misanthropy. It will land on our heads like droppings, but there will be no good luck. As doves are to pigeons and pheasants are to mallards, all we see is recessions by degree. Homogeny will rule our flock. Misogyny will cover our crests. Misogyny will dull our claws. Misandry will covet our tails. Cocksure, they are spreading their seed. So sure they will weaken our stock. So fearful of being bred out. Mongrels spreading their wings will be shot down like discs of clay. Then you will humor me from the bushes and spare me from the blushes of the dogs. They will recoil in laughter and feast on their prey, as the smoke of their torment laments from the barrel of our guns. So that's the first poem. The second poem is called, I actually don't have a title for this because I wrote this the other day at night when I couldn't sleep. So I'm just going to read it. But it's relevant to what's been going on in the news and some of the horror we've heard, what's the tip of the iceberg. These are testing times. A thread of this reality has been frayed, but in reality, we'd always known of its fragility to truth. Well-worn fabrics, well-worn thinking, and a well-worn system that's outstayed. The stitches that were made felt like phantom pains that are woven in our right hands and our foreheads, in thought and in deed. Questions appear like marks, forecast check marks that our species thought we'd passed, but we'd failed the exam. For an age, it felt like we'd been herded, then set free. Petals shaved, hooves clipped, and the brand of our masters was burned in our brains. The mind of our leaders was learned all too late. The mind of a sheep will fraternize even when grazing in pastures anew. Given names, who would give into names and then take away names from those who were saddened with a shame that was never meant for them to feel. Guilty by association, levity reigns in a place where licentiousness plays. Hearts grow cold, humor scolds, and we move on when we should keep our boots on their necks. Be a comfort to those whose innocence has been stripped away, the young who have passed away, and the girls who are passed around by devilish beings. Sat in the shadows of glut, in their bridles of filth, in the absence of love, in the swallows of Beelzebub, or was the love of money their root of evil? I'll make no excuse for the paper or their power. Apathy, apathetic, apple seeds in the dung that the fruit of our society has bred. Not the root of the awareness we acquire, not the seams of the conscious we desire, when it seems we're unaware of the suffering being exposed. And the trauma that unfolds from the people being wired not to give a damn about the pain or the process that's required to make a change. So, help me become a better man again. Help us become a humankind again. I'm so sorry that we've had to let it burn again. What goes on in the dark comes out in the light, and when it's bright, that's when the fire has sparked again. Yeah, that's the end of that one. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, that's me. Cheers.
Thank you. Hi, I'm Sarah Penna. I'm in Massachusetts. Like a couple of you, my poetry isn't like very explicitly political, but my job, I'm an outdoor experience manager with the Girl Scouts. And so I find a lot of resistance in just doing that work and protecting young women and empowering them and getting them out into nature. So I have two poems. One is short. This one doesn't have a title, and I wrote it about a surgery I had, but I feel like it's also really appropriate for what's going on right now. I remove your hand from my neck and hold it in mine. I dedicate this new life to committing acts of poetry in lands desperate to remember the feeling of tenderness. And then my second one is called This, the Birthright. And this kind of came out of more of an environmental perspective, but I feel like right now people feel they're entitled to a lot of things that they're not. And there are some things that everyone should be entitled to. So that's kind of the inspiration for this. This, the birthright. This, the birthright. To plunge fingers into dirt, 3 knuckles deep, plant seeds, and rise up stem first from the earth. This, the birthright. To lay with skin against bark, fingerprints mirroring a tree's inner workings, busy narrating a life. This, the birthright. To call out for bird and dig fingernails into insect stings, to pick ash from your lover's hair drenched in firelight. This, the birthright. To commune and collect these wonders just to sacrifice them over again and suffer. This, the birthright. Too much to wrap your hands around completely, but you must very carefully wrap your hands around it completely. When Eve reached for the apple, she felt the fruit in the palm of her hands, and a gentle plucking from the branch set her free. This, the birthright. To savor low-hanging fruit and the swift-moving river. This, the birthright. Would we so easily forget the melodies entitled to us? This, the birthright. Do we deny the lullabies of our mother? This, the birthright. To suckle the milk, not spill it, and take our sweet time in swallowing. Thank you.
Okay, is there anyone who has wanted to read but has not? I'm going to finish us up with a couple of quick poems. So I'm Anne, and I'm based in Los Angeles. I am a writer, editor, mom, doing the Poets and the Pines things, but I run the Scholastic Book Fair. I don't lead mobs. So it's been a new challenge to put my voice in a political context, but being able to write, I feel like I should, and just capture these moments and these reactions. So my first poem is called Awake, in honor of Renee Good, mother and poet. I don't want to sit up with these feelings, hot and ugly. I leave them to cry it out, swaddled in a dark chamber of my heart. There are tires on the ice and blood on the snow. This anger could eat me, fat, groaning bullfrog nestled on my chest. What mother nurses anger, feeds it with the strength of her body? When we were raised on, let it go and turn the other cheek. I'm not mad at you. But that was 3 gunshots ago. And let's be real, it's more like 300, 3,000. Their screams never loud enough, but loud enough now to wake me. I could never leave my kids to cry. I scoop the anger up, cradle it, let it burn, kiss my tongue with the violence of coffee. I'm awake, and I reach for my pen, trusty weapon, spill ink to draw my own border, hard line around the bloodshed. Then this is a super short one, inspired by the way that pundits are, I think, trying to minimize the voices of opposition out there. It's called Organized Gangs of Wine Moms. Cabernet Cabal, Merlot Menace, Tempranillo Tempest, sober as Sunday, spilling tea, and mopping the bloodstains. I've got one more that I put together this morning when I heard the phrase, "Your pleasure is political." Your pleasure is political, so I scraped my plate clean at the restaurant, share big bites with my daughter, order the Thai tea, savor its cloying kiss, tell the waiter, we enjoyed ourselves. And don't flinch when he says, through smiles sprung and loaded with 1,000 years knowing, it looks like it. I open my mouth wide so laughter can escape in explosive bursts. I'm learning, I mean really learning how to breathe. Make my diaphragm strain, stained and sticky with harvest, nothing left behind to rot. Instinct says to pull my jaw in, but when a rattlesnake feasts, she comes unhinged, lets pleasure split her open, wraps her being around what nourishes, so she lives another couple of weeks. I'm learning to trust the sounds my body makes when I open my mouth, and how to fit the world inside me. I let pleasure live on my tongue, then dance away on fawn feet. I volley my delights toward the nearest bystander, a compliment for the dollar store clerk with the lavender hair, a smile strained with knowing, a declaration that clouds a room. To love requires seeing, not blindness. So I squirm and lock eyes. I've read you have to choose red velvet lips or smoky cat-eyed lids, as if our faces were clownish in full radiance. I'm unlearning to be judicious, to avoid mixed metaphors, that chalice sloshing with all the ingredients for life. Instead, I'm greedy, choose all of the above, then toss the scantron and live. And that's all mine. I want to thank you guys so much for being here tonight. It's been so inspiring, and just knowing that there are other people out there doing the same thing, making a little mark on the world, and not letting people get away with things. And I'd invite you all just unmute right now, and anything that you want to say, I've included a Google Doc with all of our names for the lineup. If you want to leave behind all of your websites, any links to your published work, anything, so that it's sometimes nice just to study it with our eyes and let it sink in deeper. But I have loved hearing all of your different lenses and frames and takes on the world. I appreciate that so much.
It was awesome.
Thank you for hosting this, Ann and Kelly, and for giving us a chance to share our work.
It is so good to know that we're not absolutely helpless.
And that people will come when they call. When they call. Every time we have called, poets have shown up for us. So we will continue to show up for poets, and we'll try to be here every month with a new open mic, and hopefully we can all come back and just keep coming and keep sharing, keep speaking out, keep writing. And yeah, I would love to see everybody's work linked in the doc so I can go through and follow everyone. If you're not following Poets in the Pines, make sure you're following that so you can stay up to date on more events. And yeah, I'm just so excited that you all came and we're vulnerable tonight.
Yeah.
Is because I'm mostly on Instagram. Is Poets in the Pine on Instagram as well?
We are. You can find us searching Poets in the Pines.
Okay, that's great.
All
Yeah.
one phrase.
You can also find more about us on our website, poetsinthepines.com.
Okay.
We have call for submissions there. We are open for submissions right now. If anybody's interested, you can find that on our website as well. And I don't want to do too much plugging, but I think that's about it. It's the Instagram and the website. You'll find the rest out from there.
Yeah, we want to be a community where people can come to develop their craft, their voices, share in a small group. Just have a place.
I feel like some of these lines are going to be staying with me. Did anybody have a favorite line from the night? Let's see, look through the chat.
So many.
There was so many good ones. Oh gosh. I know Victoria was incredible.
Thank you. Thank you guys for having this event. This was great. It was a friend of mine just forwarded it to me. I wasn't familiar with your guys' press, and this friend of mine just, I don't know, some lists or something, I don't know, and just shared it. And I was like, oh, cool. Okay. Yeah. I'm always first it's like for radical poetry, right? We don't have them.
We're
I
so good.
put in the chat, the Indolent Press does their Michael Broad is doing he calls it the Second Coming. He's trying to do a poem a day for the current administration through every day of the current administration. So, you know, he's always looking for poems. And as I was listening to all of you tonight, I was thinking, you know, everybody's poem here, if you're interested, submit. It's a Substack, but if you just go to the Indolent Second Coming, it'll come up and you'll find the information. So
that's great. In case anybody hasn't seen it yet, I included in your email a Google Doc, which I think I've got the low-hanging fruit of different places that look for and solicit poetry inspired by current events and protest. All of the titles are hyperlinked, so it'll take you to either the home page or the submissions page for those places.
Great,
but if you want to get your voice out there, and if anybody else comes across something too, feel free to just go into that Google Doc. We all have the link, hopefully saved to our files. We can access it anytime. But you're all out there writing this stuff, and it deserves to be heard.
And now we can all have more right. Like now we all know each other, and we can read each other's work. And
yeah, somebody's on Instagram. That's how I get most of my poetry news.
I love all the references. Kelly B. I love the poem about your daughter. Because I write a lot about my own daughter, and I didn't read those poems tonight, but I love the domestic sphere, like in terms of a political act, like because it is, you know. So, and also, Anne, I think you read poems about maybe your children too. So
I have 2 daughters.
Yeah, and I have 2 special needs kids, so I write a lot about them, but I didn't read those poems tonight. So it's very nice to hear that, because it's such a sacred contract that you have with, you know, the universe or whatever, like, you know, your kids, right?
Right. When we're teaching them what to see and how to see, how to be. Yeah.
I think what's really interesting to me is the placing the care and the duties that we have every day, and the nurturing and the small acts of maybe defiance or resistance or persistence maybe.
And even Anne's poem about the anger, about, you know, because I get that, because my daughter is autistic, supposedly autistic, but probably has experienced a lot of trauma due to her family life. And I get so angry at her, and I don't even know why. You know, you don't even know why. You're just like, why am I getting angry at you? It's you're a 13-year-old girl. I shouldn't be getting angry at you. But I really appreciated that poem because, like, at least I'm not alone. You know.
Yeah, I think we've all kind of realized that. I have, listening to all of you tonight, I think it just makes me realize that this was the right thing to do. You know, go out into your communities, like, and even if that's just your group of friends, do these little small acts. They don't have to be huge. You know, you don't have to do it perfectly. There's no one right way or one perfect way. But, you know, like you said, Emily, like, we're all angry. And if,
yeah, it's hard. I mean, it's, if you hold on to it, it's hard to, it's best not to hold on to the anger, you know, and, you know, and people have so much of it. But I do like sound healing journeys. I do ceremonial breath work, you know, the whole things. But like, it's just, you know, when you're raising kids, you have to make sure you always take care of yourself too, you know, the self-care.
Oh yeah,
the self-care
100%.
really important. You know, so I don't know if you're in the self-care movement or anything, but I believe in self-care, you know.
Yeah, you got to put yourself first, and you got to have a creative outlet for get some of these feelings out. I think poetry is a great canvas for that. So
and I think the coming together too to share it is, for me, this is a form of self-care. Just
it is. No, it is.
Laying the burden down at all of your feet too, and carrying it together for a little while has been really enriching to me. But you're right, Emily, it is this delicate balance of anger and nurturing care, kind of creation and destruction living together, and finding, I mean, righteous anger sometimes, sure, but just I always grapple with what is that balance.
I just say take an Epsom salt bath. You'll be fine. Yeah,
that's magic.
I think
you too, Nathaniel. You take an Epsom salt bath.
Oh, well, thank you. Yeah, I feel like
I take an Epsom salt bath.
we don't allow ourselves to actually accept feelings that we perceive as negative, because that's the only way we integrate. We have to be, I guess, real, and we know that life isn't all sunshine, but we know that there's an excessive amount of I would say negativity.
Well, there is. You open your news in the morning and you see all this stuff, and you're like, what the heck is going on here? And you know, like, I'm just concerned about time. I'm like, am I gonna wake up in the morning on time? Like, you know, like because I have kids, and it's like, you know, are we gonna wake up in the morning on time? What's the day gonna be like? You know, but I think to de-emphasize the negative, you know, because I loved all the poems tonight, but to de-emphasize the negative and get grounded in the positive, you know, is what is gonna, you know, because there's so many divisions, differences in the world, religiously, politically, whatever. And it's just like, I go to the grocery store and you know, I'm just like super friendly to people sometimes for no reason. Like, because like, you just should be. You should just be like super friendly to people, because why not? Like, you know, you don't want people hitting you with their cards, you know. But anyway, I'm gonna shut up. Because
no, it's fine.
No,
Like,
it's true. I like
just-
that you said de-emphasize the negative. Sorry, go ahead, Nathaniel.
it's the world's so loud and it makes you realize the bar's so low, but then you meet individuals and groups and the bar's so high, and that more than makes up for it because there's hope. You know, that's the
Yeah.
big thing. Like the idea is that they used to call it the still small voice, and this is an analogy of that. But you know, in terms of bodies or people, you know, it's the same concept.
You need to
That-
pay
that-
attention to the angel numbers. The angel numbers. If you see 1111, if you see 1111 or 111, then you know you're on track. You're good. You're
Mm.
good. Everything in the universe will conspire to work for you and for the good of everyone. You know,
Yeah.
the angel numbers.
I will say, when I signed up, like when I first saw this advertised, I literally thought this was my local community poets group that meets in an art gallery. And so and then when I signed up for it, I'm like, oh, it's not. And then I was like the only person. So I live, I didn't say this because I was like, oh, great. Not only is it not like people I know, I get to go first. And so I forgot to say, like, so I live on the Canadian border in upstate New York.
Oh my
which
gosh, me too.
Yeah, which has a really interesting vibe right now. But like and it's fun. I actually wrote the poem a year ago. It was 3 days ago. It was a year old that poem was, and I haven't, you know, I wrote it and I actually put it on Facebook because I was like, I don't know what to do with this. I'm supposed to be working right now. And I didn't look at it again for a year. And then I saw this and I was like, oh, I didn't know this was a thing they were doing. Guess what? It's not a thing they were doing. But it was a fantastic experience and it was nice to be able to share it. Going first is always nerve wracking, even when it's something I've done 100,000 times. So, but yeah, thank you very, very much.
Well, happy mistake.
you joined.
Yeah. I want to not let the occasion pass, noting Bryson's first open mic poetry reading or virtual open mic. Congratulations on that. You did great.
Thank you. I have done a couple in person.
Okay.
It wasn't at very big gatherings, but this is the biggest I've ever presented in front of. I think it was like 17 or 19 people. For me, that's the biggest I've ever done. But thank you.
We're glad to witness it. And I saw a question in the comments about whether you'll have access to the recording of this. Yes, I believe we're going to try to post it on Poets in the Pines Substack. Kelly, do you have that link to drop into the chat?
Yes, I
Just
I can also, whenever it's done, I can shoot a link to everybody and just be like, here's the recording. That way you have it.
Oh yeah, perfect. You can also email it on to everyone who is here because we have your addresses for the registration.
I think it's just substack.poetsinthepines. Question.
Okay.
I think it should be. It's not letting me look, but I'm sure it's very easy to find.
I was gonna say, I think I have it because I joined a couple while we were in this meeting or in this open mic.
I love the poetry space. It's the most non-judgmental space out there, and I think it's like a driving force for change because it's like people can express themselves. It's like people can be fully authentic, and people can understand the root of their experiences, even though we have different life experiences. The root of what we go through is the same, essentially.
Right.
You know, so I think poetry will save us.
Experience, the human experience,
That's
the
my favorite part.
human condition, the human condition, like, right? We're just a whole bunch of people walking around in the grocery store.
Yeah.
To meet sacks.
Yeah.
But like,
Go ahead, Bryson.
going off of what you were saying, Nathaniel, like the reason why I love poetry so much is like you get so many different perspectives. Like it was Victorio, like his piece, like I'm gonna be thinking about that for days. Just that that I've never thought about it like that before. You get so many different perspectives. And that's why I signed up, is because like I know someone's gonna do something or say something and it's gonna change the way I see or think about it. And I really like having that open-mindedness when coming into these things. And that is my favorite part.
I agree. There were so many different parts of the globe, different times included in all of this. And it's a good reminder that, you know, this is not the only time things have happened. Although one thing about having kids is I live under a rock sometimes.
Yeah.
And I really did relax between about 2020 and 24. Kind of felt like I didn't have to micromanage the country. But
yes,
we're not alone in history at this moment either.
My mother just moved in with me in May, and she's changed her mind on a lot of things since coming to live with me. And I say to her all the time, like, was it like this before? Was it like this when you were my age? Like, it feels so heavy, and it feels like we're never going to come out the other side. And that's like, I wrote my poem, and it was in anger. It wasn't about me, but it is now a regular reminder that I could make a choice to be different, and I don't want to, because I don't understand. There's so much I don't understand. And I think like the poetry tonight helps us not only find people who think in a similar vein or feel similarly, but it's a great reminder of different viewpoints and perspectives. We all see the same thing, but we don't all feel the same way about them, even when we all believe the same things. And those are perspectives I'll never live. It's, you know, the mirrors, windows, doors.
Right. Right.
So thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks. I think
Thank
we can
you all.
start.
I know we're gonna have a little separation anxiety.
Yeah, really good to meet you all though.
Yes, and we'll see you next time. Hopefully you
Yeah,
guys.
I think what is it,
come to the
2:30
next one.
a.m. now?
Oh, sorry, what was that?
Oh, are you 2:30 a.m. right now?
Yeah, I need to go to bed.
That's some dedication.
Yeah,
really, I'm honored.
I applaud you. I don't know if I could stay up that late.
I mean, it's Friday. I'm working from home tomorrow, so I'm literally gonna roll out of bed, brush my teeth, and get on my laptop up, and then I'll wing it through tomorrow. Yeah,
I'm a mechanic. I work on forklifts for my day job, so I'm just like, I get home. I don't know if I could make it to 2:30.
To be honest, it sounds like I'd be knackered if I was doing what you're doing. That's quite so
My
yeah.
brother does that too.
I thought 9:30 was late over here. I'm getting old. I was like, it's 9:30 p.m. I'm never up this late.
What? Well, you're up. You're a morning person.
I know. I get up. I'm weird. I get up at like 3 a.m. and then I go to bed at like 8 p.m. I know it's weird, but I like it in the morning. It's quiet. You know, everybody sleep. All
Yeah,
the
between
ideas
us,
are free.
the coast, we
I have
basically
to wake up at 6, and I hate waking up at 6.
Mhm.
I'm so not a morning person.
All right, guys. I'm
Yeah.
gonna
All
call
right. Good night, everyone.
it. Good night. Thank you so
Night.
much for coming. I hope to see you again.
Yeah, we'll send all the
soon.
links to everything out. Kelly, is there a way to capture our chat, all of these wonderful links in it? Do you know? We're gonna close our thing and lose it. I wonder if I could just do a quick. Yeah, okay, I'm just gonna copy paste.
Can you copy it all?
everything here. I think so. It's highlighting. So copy.
I won't get out of it until
I'm
you
opening a Word doc.
Yeah.
Open new.
It's just us in here now.
Yeah. So I'm just gonna see if I can boop.
Did it work?
Thinking, it's thinking. Don't crash.
Thinking
There's a
about
lot. Oh yeah, yeah. Here we go.
Yay! Oh my God, it was so good.
Oh, it was.
That was
Okay,
so
good. I have all the
awesome.
links to everything. So I'll pull out anything that we need from there.
Okay. I'm
Yeah,
so proud of us.
our poets were very good.
The poetry was great.
All right. Have
All
a
right.
great night.
Bye. Enjoy your
Bye.
night.
You too.
Bye.